Virginia. Hare Krishna Mataji, Hare Krishna everybody in the class. Dandavat Pranam Mataji, Dandavat Pranam to everybody in the class.
Hare Krishna, Sri Hari Radha Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharaj and all the devotees. Hare Krishna. Is there anyone else who would like to introduce?
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Shri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to the assembled devotees. Yashamati from Chicago.
Hare Krishna, Yashamati Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharaj. And all. Thank you, Mataji, for joining and giving your association every day, twice a day. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Komadiki Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. This is Vinita Gandharvika Devidasi from Texas. Hare Krishna, nice to see you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Vinita Gandharvika Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharaj. Thank you, Mataji, for joining. Hare Krishna and giving your association. Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Kamodike Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. This is Shama Supriya Devi Dasi from Houston, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Shama Supriya Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharaj. Thank you, Mataji, for joining and giving your association. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Is public to join? I don't know.
No, Mataji, not yet. Prabhuji did not yet join, Mataji. We have another minute.
Okay. I'll just keep it there. Okay. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Mataji, Prabhuji joined, Mataji.
Oh, okay. Welcome to Bhakti Sangha Japa Conference. Welcome to Bhakti Sangha Japa Conference. So today's class will be given by His Grace Ramgiridhari Prabhuji on the topic of Sri Caitanya Bhagavat, Khand 1 and chapter 30. Prabhuji, thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharaj. Thank you very much for giving your valuable time and association this morning, Prabhuji. And please take over the call now. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Dandavats, and thank you so much for having me in this call. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Jaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttamashloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrindam Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrindam. So we are going to discuss from Chaitanya Bhagavata Adi Khanda chapter 1 text number 33 through 41. the context that we are in is that Vrindavan Das Thakura is just preparing the ground to glorify Mahaprabhu's appearance. So he is still setting the scene. He is still explaining the background of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu, how they are Krishna and Balarama. And he is trying to prepare, sensitize, as well as help us to hone in, focus in to the science that he is going to present, and not to get carried away at any point in time by the versions of so-called historians who think that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is just a historical personality. So we will read few verses, shloka and translation, then we will churn the context.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I'm sorry to interrupt. Would you like me to share the screen or is it fine?
It's up to you. You can share the screen. I have no problems.
Okay.
Okay, text 33. Ekatani dui bhai gopika samaje karilena rasa krida vrindavana mahaje. The two brothers, Krishna and Balarama, both performed rasa krida pastimes in the company of the gopis at the same place in Vrindavana. Kadachitata Govindo Ramaschadbhuta Vikrama Vijahratur Vane Ratriam Madhya Vrajayoshhitam. Once Lord Govinda and Lord Rama, the performers of wonderful feats, were playing holy in the forests at the night with young girls of Vraja. Upagiyamano lalitam strijanair baddha sauhridaihi swalankara tanu liptanghau shravino virajom barau. Krishna and Balarama wore flower garlands and spotless garments, and their limbs were beautifully decorated and anointed. The women sang their glories in a charming way, bound to them by affection. Nishamukam manayantava udito dupa tarakam mallika gandha mattali jushtam kumudha vayunam. The two lords praised the nightfall, signaled by the rising of the moon and the appearance of stars, a lotus-scented breeze, and bees intoxicated by the fragrance of jasmine flowers. Jagatu sarva bhutanam manashravana mangalam tau kalpayanto yugapat swara mandala murchitam. Krishna and Balaram sang, producing the entire range of musical sounds simultaneously. Their singing brought happiness to the ears and minds of all living beings. Bhagavata suniyara Rama nahi prita Vishnu Vaishnaver Pate Sejana Varjita. One who has no love for Lord Balarama, after hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam, is rejected by both the Lord and his devotees. Text 39. Bhagavata ye namane se yavanasamam Tara Shasta Ache Janma Janme Prabhuyama. one who does not accept Srimad Bhagavatam is no better than a Yavana. And Lord Yamaraj punishes him birth after birth. Text 40. Ebe keha keha napumshaka veshe nache bole balarhama rasakon shastre ache. Nowadays, some faithless persons, eunuchs, challenge in which scripture is Balaram's Rasalila described. Kona papi shastra dheki leha nahi mane eka arte anya arta kariya vakhane. Some sinful persons do not accept this pastime even if they read about it in the scriptures. They distort the actual meaning of the scriptures into some other meaning. So we will read till this verse 41. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namaham Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrindam. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So once again, thank you so much, and it's also a pleasure to be in the assembly of wonderful Vaishnavas to discuss the most beautiful nectarian Caitanya Bhagavata. I'm not sure to how many people we can express our indebtedness for the fortune that we are having. For sure, we might need to identify them, and not once, not twice, not thrice, but every day we need to offer our gratitude for them to have given us this nectar. The current context itself is very wonderful, because Vrindavan Das Thakura, before even beginning to describe the appearance of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he is actually preparing ourselves to get into the proper frame of mind and learn to accept, receive Mahaprabhu's appearance and activities as no less than Krishna's activities and appearance. And he is also ensuring that what will attract Mahaprabhu and what is the most superlative thing that would give us Mahaprabhu's blessings, access to Mahaprabhu's blessings, which is about the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu. And here, in the current context, he is preparing us to define how Chaitanya and Nityananda are actually Krishna and Balaram. So he is actually making us relish some confidential, purifying, surcharging pastimes of Krishna Balaram, which will help us prepare our consciousness Because the moment we hear about beautiful activities of Krishna and Balaram, beautiful activities of Krishna and Vrindavan Vasis, the relationship between gopis and Krishna Balaram, the relationship between Nanda Baba, Yashoda Maya and Krishna Balaram. So if you, the moment you hear about these activities, the natural love and the natural affinity towards the Supreme Lord is, installed, or it is revived, or at least it starts to revive. And when the author is describing about these activities, he is actually quoting from Srimad Bhagavatam to properly set the context, sensitize us about the people whom we are going to deal with, the content that we are going to deal with, more so to make us, get into the groove of Krishna Prem, knowing that these subject matters are open secrets. Open secret being that in spite of these information being made available black and white, these books are available in the shops. Vrindavan Das Thakura is warning. What is his warning? He saying nowadays, some faithless persons challenge. And he is classifying such faithless persons as a special category of people whom the society is not so commonly accept. In Hindi, we call them as chakkas, or whatever slangs in which people call them. So they say, Vrindavan Das Thakura is saying that it's only the faithless persons who will question, in spite of reading the scripture, in spite of presenting them with wonderful literature, with references, saying that how Balaram is Nityananda, how Balaram and Krishna are same tattva, how they are, enjoying their pastimes with their own dear devotees. They simply question the validity of them. So Vrindavan Das Thakura is actually sensitizing us that be careful, beware of such allegations, because some sinful persons do not accept the pastime. Even if they read about it in the scriptures, they would actually distort the meaning of the scriptures into some other meaning. They would only present this as a made-up story for driving home a philosophical point, and they will actually distort their philosophical point and also demean the power of the Supreme Lord. So this is completely a aparad. So Vrindavan Das Thakura is actually helping us, in spite of some of the readers are encouraged to come to Chaitanya Charitamrita, Chaitanya Bhagavata, after finishing up all the basic literatures, because of the nature of the Lord's confidential pastimes, because the Lord during his manifested Leela never declared himself publicly that he is Krishna himself or Balaram himself. These all confidential details were never revealed openly, and they were only shared in a very confidential arrangement. And after the Lord's departure, several devotees started, glorifying and bringing this out. And even then, these informations are remaining confidential. So my first reflection, as well as my submission, as well as my gratefulness, is that we are highly indebted, highly grateful, or highly thankful to all those devotees who has given us, who has sensitized about this part of making us to be careful as well as thankful when we discuss about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu. Srila Prabhupada, our own spiritual masters, our own spiritual authorities, our own Vaishnavas, to all of you. And if you can go to the line, His Divine Grace, Vrindavan Das Thakura. In Teachings of Queen Kunti, in one place, Prabhupada writes, especially in that shloka, Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nandagopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. In that particular shloka's purport, Srila Prabhupada writes that Kunti Maharani, she is such a wonderful devotee. She is such a kind-hearted devotee. She wanted to glorify Krishna and she wanted to present Krishna to everyone. So she is giving all the details of Krishna so that we don't get carried away to a wrong Krishna. Prabhupada writes there in the purport that she is giving the address, activities, and all the locational information that make sure you surrender to Vasudeva Krishna, not any Krishna, who is Devaki's putra, not anybody else, who has been given to Nandagopa, whose job is to take care of cows. So she is giving so many attributes and details, because even when Krishna was there on this planet, Paundraka started to claim that he is the actual one and the real Krishna was the fake one. If during Krishna's time we had such rascals, in Kali Yuga we have enough such bogus, unscrupulous dhongi babas who claim themselves, who dress themselves, who identify themselves as Bhagavan, and who use Bhagavan's literatures, the glorious scriptures of the Supreme Lord, to misconstrue their ideologies. So, Vrindavan Das Thakur ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, and that is why Devaki Nandan Das, who once used to be called as Gopala Chapal, he is composing a song. Because what happened when Gopala Chapal got leprosy because of his offense towards Srivas Thakur? He was sent to, he tried everything possible to cure his leprosy. He couldn't get cured. So he finally going to Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu. Caitanya Mahaprabhu, who is considered as the Mahavadanya, the most munificent, most merciful, most magnanimous Lord, denied helping Gopala Chapal, saying that because you had offended Srivas Thakura, I cannot help you. Maybe you should go to Nityananda. He may give you some advice. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is directing him to Nityananda Prabhu. And Nityananda Prabhu is saying that you please go and ask forgiveness to Srivas Thakur. He will give you further direction. And Srivas Thakur, to whom Gopala Chapala offended, actually, with a very kind heart, he forgave Gopala Chapal, knowing that there may be still some traces of familiarity in the heart of Gopala Chapal. He directed him to a person called Purushottam Das Thakur. And Purushottam Das Thakur, taking stock of all the situation, he told Gopala Chapal, he initiated him as Devaki Nandan Das. He said, for the rest of your life, keep a straw between your teeth and serve and glorify Vaishnavas. So there is a very wonderful song Devaki Nandan Das composed. Vrindavana Vasi Jata Vaishnave Ragan Pratame Vandana Kori Sabara Charan Neela Chala Vasi Jata Mahaprabhu Gan Bhumite Podiya Vandon Sabara Charan Navadvipa Vasi Jata Mahaprabhur Bhakta Sabara Charana Vandon Koya Hoyanu Rakta Mahaprabhu Gana Sabha Gauda Deshe Sthiti. It's a very, very, very wonderful song. He is going on glorifying Vrindavana Vasi, Mayapur Vasi, Navadvip Vasi, Neelachala Vasi. Hoya Chene, Hoi Bene Prabhur Jatadas. Those devotees who used to be there in the past, who are going to come in the future, I am offering my obeisances to all of them. Because of the one single reason that they rescued and gave us the right perspective. Otherwise, we would have definitely behaved recklessly and missed a very, very golden opportunity. So in the 6-8 verses that we are reading today, the verse number 40 and 41, and even verse number 39, all three of them is only preparing, at least verse number 40 and 41, from which I brought this first reflection, is that we need to be prepared. We need to be convinced, and we can also be very thankful for us to have this privilege of knowing, understanding, and to a larger extent have an affinity that Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu, or Krishna Balaram, and they have come in this Kali Yuga exclusively to perform pastimes, to demonstrate the process of devotional service, so that we who have this very low class mentality in Kali Yuga can also learn and eventually rise up to the platform of pure devotional service. This is my first reflections. And the second reflection is about verse number 38 and 39, in which Vrindavan Das Thakura, who is once again very kindly scolding or kind of accusing that if you are not able to accept Balaram, even after hearing all his glories from Srimad Bhagavatam, both the Bhagavan, Krishna, as well as his devotees will reject us. And he further says, one who does not accept Srimad Bhagavatam is no better than Yavana, and Lord Yamaraj punishes him birth after birth. So, this is a very famous as well as very wonderful topic for all of us, as always, to glorify Srimad Bhagavatam. Sanatana Goswami in his Bhagavata Mahima Stotra, he says, Sri Krishna Parivartita Sarva Shastrabdi Piyusha Sarva Vedaika Satphala Sarva Siddhanta Ratnadya Sarva Lokaika Drik Prada Sarva Bhagavata Prana Srimad Bhagavata Prabhu Kali Dhvanto Ditaditya Sri Krishna Parivartita. He's saying Srimad Bhagavatam is Krishna personified, and elsewhere it is mentioned that how different chapters of Srimad Bhagavatam refers to different parts of the body of the Supreme Lord. So, from that perspective, here Vrindavan Das Thakura is saying that if somebody is not accepting Srimad Bhagavatam, he is a Yavana. There is a very long purport where he is only giving references to the description of who a Yavana is. We'll, slightly read one or two points there. Yavana are those who are uncultured, mannerless, in the human body with animal propensity. This is to be put in a nutshell who is an Yavana. And he says that even if somebody in human form of life, which is considered as a Durlabha, he does not accept Srimad Bhagavatam, you don't even need to, be an expert in one letter to our Srila Prabhupada disciple, His Grace Harikesh Prabhu, once used to be called Harikesh Maharaj. Srila Prabhupada wrote a letter. He said that our publications are very, very divine and glorious, that one should at least make sure that we make a person to hold our literature in their hand. Even if somebody going to hold our books, they'll be fortunate enough. If somebody read one verse from our book, half a verse from our book, one line from our book, one word from our book, they will be delivered. So Srila Prabhupada, he went to US with holy name, Gurudev's blessings, and Srimad Bhagavatam's support. Otherwise, Srila Prabhupada did not have any wealth or any strategy or any known context. So what transformed the entire world, starting from the matchless gift, the stores, his holy name, Guru Parampara's blessings, and Srimad Bhagavatam. So one need not even be an expert, even if one touches Srimad Bhagavatam, if one reads one word of Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, Kinchita Jita, Ganga Jalalava Kanika Pita, Sakrita Piyena Murari Samarcha, Kriyate Tasya Yamenana Charcha. Here it is said that if somebody is not accepting Srimad Bhagavatam, Prabhu Yama will make him to go through birth after birth. We don't know in what form. May not necessarily human form. So isliye Shankaracharya is telling, Bhagavad Gita Kinchita Jita, even if somebody little bit get exposed to the instructions of the Supreme Lord, we can definitely extrapolate. It's not Bhagavad Gita alone, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, Shastras. Kriyate tasya yamenana charcha. In that person's life, there is no discussion of Yamaraj, which means death is not going to threaten him. And as a part of this reflection, Vrindavan Das Thakura is also making a point where if somebody accepts Srimad Bhagavatam, but not accepting Balaram, one who has no love for Lord Balaram, after hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, is rejected by both the Lord and his devotees. This is a very nice point. In the purport is mentioned, I'll just read that part. As soon as the living entity realizes the truths regarding the three Purushas, he is freed from illusion or mundane intelligence. In other words, this realization awakens transcendental intelligence in the heart of the living entity and helps him advance on the path of worshipping Lord Vishnu, who is eternally full of knowledge and bliss and the worshipable Lord of the Vaishnavas. It is stated in the Satprata Tantras, the first Purusha, Mahavishnu, is the creator of the total material energy. The second is Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu, situated in each universe. And third is Kshirodaka Sai Vishnu, who lives in the heart of every living being. He who knows these three becomes liberated from the clutches of Maya. So the message here is that just by knowing this truth, that Balaram and Balaram's connection in the entire context, and who Balaram is in connection with Krishna, transcendental intelligence gets manifested in the heart. Regular intelligence is skill-based. Regular intelligence is transactional-based, utility-based. But transcendental intelligence is actually striving for the real happiness away from the illusion. So my second reflection or second point to highlight in the current context is Vrindavan Das Thakura is helping us once again and warning us and also accusing those who deny Balaram's connection or Balaram's position from Srimad Bhagavatam. As a part of this, I'll just, touch, or probably I'll encourage you all to read this purport of 39 shloka if you wanted to know more details about what a Yavana is all about. I mean, significant part of this purport is only talking about who Yavana is, but I'll just refer one particular point from purport. In this age of Kali, one who considers Srimad Bhagavatam more dear than his own life will never suffer the punishment of Yamaraj, even for 100 kalpas. This is from Hari Bhakti Vilas. Elsewhere, a person who does not hear Srimad Bhagavatam throughout his entire life is no better than a Chandala or an ass. The result of his birth was only his mother's delivery pains. Indra, the king of demigods in heaven, declares that the sinful man who never hears the topics of Srimad Bhagavatam is simply a burden to the earth, and although living, he is actually dead. So these are all certain bold accusations, and unfortunately, our younger generation or the current generation, they are not very much happy when they are accused, because they are programmed. They are made to think that I have my independence, I have my freedom, I have my free will, I have my choices, I have my way of living, so nobody can dictate me. So to those people, when they come across such quote-unquote allegations, they simply reject this. So the challenge of this current society or the younger generation is, if they don't understand things, they will mock at them, and several people who mocks join hands together and try to demean the truth. And unfortunately, those who are speaking truth, being in minority, simply leave that assembly to safeguard themselves from such rascals. That is why Caitanya Mahaprabhu came and started this Sankirtan mission. What happened was, after Mahaprabhu, Narottam Das Thakur, Srinivas Acharya, and Shyamananda Pandit, they were distributing the books, writings of Goswamis. It's a very famous pastime you all would have heard, where the entire lot of books were stolen by some group of gundas who were arranged by the king, who thought that these people are carrying a very valuable treasure. Later, the king repented and the story goes on further. At that time, when they were all three of them were repenting, they were almost deciding to suicide, saying that what is the value of our life if we are not able to fulfill the orders of our authorities, and that too we have lost their writings. So what is going to be the future of the society? At the time, Narottam Das Thakur is pleading, crying, saying that I wish and I pray that there could be some mechanism and technology wherein we can make unlimited copies of such Vaishnava Acharya's literature, and that can be made available to the humanity at large. So what Narottam Das Thakur desired, craved for, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj, Bhakti Vinod Thakur, and eventually Srila Prabhupada had actually fulfilled by using the modern technology, printing press, as well as the publishing and distributing, which is considered as a glorious service in the mission of Sri Krishna Chaitanya. So to consolidate my second reflection, I just want to say that our modern education system, our modern lifestyle, our younger generation, they are oblivious to any of this understanding, any of this subject matter. And they are against anyone who is accusing. They don't like this style of teaching to them. So it is a duty of all of us, fortunate Shraddhalu Sadhakas, to take these messages of Vrindavan Das Thakura, present and package it to the younger generation in a manner by which they will also accept Sri Krishna Chaitanya and Nityananda as Krishna Balaram and eventually subscribe to this Sankirtan mission. And another part of the second reflection is about that if we do not participate and do that service, then we will be forcefully, without even we wanting it, putting our younger generation, the future generation, at the risk of the accusations that Vrindavan Das Thakura is giving here. That they will not be able to, as it is mentioned, that their life is no better than Chandalas or as, and they are just a burden to the society. But otherwise, if you are able to give them access and encourage, make them encourage the signs of Krishna consciousness, then as Hari Bhakti Vilas claim, for hundreds of kalpas, they will not suffer from the punishment of Yamaraj. So it is a very important responsibility. So whilst we are expressing our gratefulness, we have to accept the responsibility of making our generations, current generation, the future generation, about the need of accepting, learning and knowing the superlative position of Krishna Balaram and Gaur Nitai. Now comes to the Leela and Rasa part of this particular context, which is from verse number 33 through 37, in which Vrindavan Das Thakura is giving a glimpse of Krishna Balaram's activities in Vrindavan. They referred 4 shlokas from Srimad Bhagavatam, in which the loving bonding between Krishna and Balaram are very wonderfully described. Krishna has got several sakas. Krishna has got a saka, a category of saka called Suhrida Saka. Krishna has got a category of saka which is called Sadharana Saka. Krishna has got a category of sakas, friends, called Priya Saka. Krishna has got a category of saka called Priya Narma Saka. And all of them, they assist Krishna in some unique ways. Balarama is Krishna's Suhrida Saka. And in this Leela, he plays a very significant role. In the future verses you will all be reading, Balarama is participating in Krishna Leela and serving Krishna in all the rasas, Santa Rasa, Dasya Rasa, Satya Rasa, Vatsalya Rasa, Madhurya Rasa also. So he is becoming paraphernalia. He is becoming servant. He is becoming friend. He is becoming a guardian. And that's what is explained, that in the earlier part of Krishna Leela in Vrindavan, Balarama played the role of more of a friend. Not only just a friend, a very close, partner in crime. In the later part, when Krishna became king of Dwaraka, Balaram is playing the role of an elder brother, really in the role of protecting. But so long as Balaram was in Vrindavan, he participated more in the fun and the play part. He also had been part of several crimes that Krishna and the cowherd boys did. And he was part of them. And one such was that playing with Krishna and along with the gopis. In fact, when Krishna left Vrindavan, and Krishna's first messenger was Uddhava, and the second messenger was Balaram. When Balaram came to inquire about the welfare of all the people in Vrindavan, it is explained that Balaram spent time with every members of the society, but he had an exclusive time with his own girlfriends. As Vrindavan Das Thakur is explaining, he had his own cloud of gopis friends with whom he used to have his rasa dance. So this entire rasa Leela, rasa Krida pastime of Krishna and Balaram is very special, is very unique, and it is very divine. The first and second reflection that we had will form the basis for us to appreciate these wonderful pastimes. Otherwise, we will not be able to appreciate. If we are not grateful to our predecessors, if we are not responsible in educating ourselves and educating our next generation, we will not be able to appreciate. We will not be able to even touch the surface, scratch the surface of Krishna Balaram's transcendental Leela. I just wanted to touch base on few of the emotions or the moods of Vrindavan. Recently, I had the good fortune to be in Vrindavan. At least I will share some realizations, bits and pieces of them, which is somewhat connected to this context. I had a good fortune to go to Vrindavan Dham in the month of October, and that was that time. After 2 years, I went to Vrindavan Dham. Because of COVID, there were restrictions. So I felt very emotional. So I was praying to, our Balaramji, because in our, in Vrindavan Dham, there are two people who are very, center of focus. One is Srimati Radharani, second is Balaram. Krishna to baad mein, later, especially in Krishna Balaram temple, Krishna Balaram is the center of attraction, that too Balaram. So I was praying to Krishna Balaram with whatever little sincerity, with enough, dust in the heart, that I was praying that I do not know what, entails in my life, what is going to happen. But can I get at least an opportunity, a privilege of getting to associate and visit and take part in some servicing, insignificant service, to come to Vrindavan. Because from the place where I live to Vrindavan, it's not very far, because it's not very close to. It's like, if you take a train, it takes 15-16 hours to reach Vrindavan. If you take a flight, it takes around, by the time from my house to Vrindavan Dham, it takes around 7-8 hours. So it's not very, very far that way. So I was praying to Balaram, at least 2 years I couldn't come to Vrindavan. Can I get a privilege of, come and seeing you every month once? I don't know why I prayed. At least I was just, casually talking to someone, and at the same time developed this desire. And trust me, my dear devotees, since October till now, I had been to Vrindavan 4 times. And once again, so in the month of October, he gave me an opportunity. In the month of November, he gave me an opportunity. In the month of December, he gave me an opportunity. In the month of January, I had an opportunity. And again, I am going to Vrindavan on 4th of February to Vrindavan Dham for attending a devotee wedding. So Balramji took care of 5 months of the commitment or the prayer. I'm not sure beyond that if he's going to allow me. And I'm not sure even every time when when the dates are approaching to go to Vrindavan Dham, I will be shivering, because it is only by the mercy of Srimati Radharani and Balaram we can enter Vrindavan Dham. So the point I was trying to say is that the mood in Vrindavan is such that if you express your love to Sri Balaram and Sri Krishna, the way they reciprocate is so intoxicating, is so captivating, that even somebody as fallen as I am will have some hope. So the here, by performance of such a Krida pastimes, what Krishna and Balaram have done, they have made sure the members in the community have gone crazy after them, and they don't know anything beyond Krishna and Balaram in Vrindavan Dham. One day, after the boys, they came back herding the calves. This is much before they were going to herd the cows. Krishna and Balaram came home and they were sleeping. In the middle of the night at 2 p.m. or 2 a.m., sorry, Subal, one of the very close Suhrita, one of the close Saka, he's called Priya Saka. So he came to Krishna's house crying and weeping. He kept knocking on the doors of his house. Then Yashoda Maya, was afraid that who is at 2 a.m. in the morning coming and knocking on the door. She went and opened the door. It was Subal. He was crying and weeping, saying that, "My dear mother, I want to see Krishna right now. I am missing him. I want to see him. His face is so charming, so beautiful. His presence is so wonderful. I want to, see him. So can you please let me, see him?" Mother Yashoda said, "I'm sorry, dear. He's sleeping. How can I go and disturb Krishna? Poor guy, a whole day he had been, herding the calves. So he may be tired, no? So you see in the morning." But Subal was very adamant and crying and weeping. So Mother Yashoda thought, how can I pacify this boy? So she told Subal, "I will give you a solution for this problem. What if I give you Krishna's picture? Will you be satisfied? You can keep that picture with you forever. You can embrace that picture and you can quench your thirst. And whenever you get to see him, play with him, play with him. At least I'll give you some picture. Will that satisfy you, my dear Subal?" So Subal said that, "Oh yeah, at least, that will help me. Okay, I'll settle them for that." So I do not know, don't ask me logically how this all panned out. Yashoda Maya called Chitra Saki. Of all the Sakis, Chitra Saki is known as a very great artist. So she can paint, she can play veena, she can do several artistic things. So she called Chitra Saki and said, "My dear, child, can you draw Krishna's picture and give it to Subal?" Because those days you don't have a technology. They had better technology than nowadays. So Chitra Saki immediately agreed. And how she drew Krishna's picture, when she closed her eyes, Krishna's image, she could imagine, she could, bring in Krishna's form, and she drew Krishna's, form in the, she was drawing. But then Krishna is transcendental, absolute truth. Whether it's Krishna's form, whether Krishna's, imagination, everything is real. There is nothing called as a fake or a dream. So every time Chitra Saki used to close her eyes and try to draw Krishna used to keep changing his shapes and he used to make different faces. In a sense that she couldn't draw. Because for an artist, at least you should have some stationary, person so that she can draw. But Krishna was giving so many faces when Chitra Saki was trying to draw. So she was getting distracted. So what did she do? She prayed to Srimati Radharani. Said, "Srimati Radharani, please, can you help me finish this service?" As soon as she prayed to Srimati Radharani, Krishna became quiet. In the vision of Chitra Saki, she could draw the picture and she eventually gave it to Subal. And every day from that point in time, Subal used to hug that Krishna's picture and used to sleep. The reason I am narrating this is the mood in Vrindavan Dham, the affinity and attachments that everybody had for Krishna, and the way the interrelationships worked in Vrindavan Dham is so wonderful. They had equal appreciation. Krishna and Balaram had equal appreciation for Vrindavan Dham, and Vrindavan Vasis had equal appreciation for Krishna Balaram. Bala Gopala Neela Megha Shyam, Prema Bharo Dil Mein Hamare Ganashyam. Govinda Radhe, Gopala Radhe, Govardhana Giridhari, Shyama Sundara Madana Mohana Brindavana Vihari, Bala Gopala Neela Megha Shyam, Prema Baro Dil Mein Hamare Gana Shyam. This is a Hindi folk song that generally I've heard from some devotees, not necessarily from Gaudiya Vaishnavas, but we sang to some devotees, and they had a Loknath Maharaj. Actually, it's a very nice story there once, probably 25 years before, in 1993, if I'm right. Myself and one of my godbrothers, we went for book distribution. And when we came back, we had a wonderful day that day. We distributed Bhagavatam set, Krishna art book, several Bhagavad Gitas. So Loknath Maharaj and his Padayatra team was there in Srirangam. So we went and offered obeisances. They were all having prasadam, so they heard our scores. At the time, I was in my grade 10th. So they hearing my scores. We were only two boys, me and one more friend. So the scores was very nice. So at that time, my mother was also there. So Loknath Maharaj, from his, he was honoring prasadam. From his plate, he gave some Mahaprasadam to me and my mother, and blessed my other godbrother at the time. So he asked my mother to sing a song and bless me. So at that time, my mother sang the song, and Maharaj, was very happy that how the entire Krishna consciousness nourishment from a very young age protects us from the nonsenses. So if at all anything that has saved us, when we came to Mumbai, me and my friend who were in the book distribution, when we came to Mumbai, we didn't have any friends, we didn't have any family, we didn't have any arrangements. All it saved us was those blessings and those wonderful moments of service under the bona fide Vaishnavas. So this Vrindavan mood that is explained by our dear Vrindavan Das Thakura is such that when we carry this mood in our heart, when we try to long for this mood, because Krishna is longing for his wonderful association, wonderful moment with his dearmost associates, dearmost, sakas and sakis, and what to speak of his relationship with Mother Yashoda. Krishna Balaram, what happened was that Krishna wanted to now, want to go to herd the, cows, because enough of Vatsapalak, he wanted to become Gopalak. So Krishna is creating so many strategies for going to go and herd the cows, and Balaram is helping Krishna in that agenda. It's a very wonderful storyline. I will not go there, but I just want to say how Balaram is facilitating Krishna in his Leela. Because Krishna knew he had several reasons why he has come to Vrindavan. Number one, to kill the demons. Number two, to give his special association and moments with his cows, with his calves, with his Vrindavan Vasis, with the plants, with the birds, with the trees, with Mother Earth, with the Yamuna, with Gopis, with Giriraj. So many wonderful agendas he had. But if he continues to remain as Vatsapalak, he cannot do any of those things. Because what happens is, till the age of 5, Krishna had a very limited boundary where he can move around. Every day morning, when Krishna is to step out of the house, as a 5-year-old, 3-year-old, 4-year-old boy, as soon as Krishna would have just gone not only to the gate, if you all had been to Gokul and Nandagaon, in both the places, Yashoda Maiya's house had got a rooftop. So Yashoda Maiya, as soon as Krishna is to step out of the house, she used to go to the rooftop. From the rooftop, she could see everything happening in and around. In which gully, in which streets, in which lane Krishna is moving around. So Yashoda Maiya used to do some household works. Suddenly when she thinks of Krishna, she used to tell, hey, maid servant, attend this, I'll come back. She used to go to the rooftop, she used to see around where Krishna is going. Then she used to come down once again, she starts doing her work. And when she suddenly thinks of Krishna, she used to go to rooftop. And Krishna didn't like that. Krishna didn't want that somebody is constantly chasing her or scanning him around. So Krishna wanted to, and then Yashodamaya is very possessive of Krishna. So he does not want that in front of her he performs all this drama. So he wanted to go to the forest. So he told, he tried different strategies. And Balaram helped in that strategy. What was the strategy in which Balaram helped? So one day Balaram, Krishna and all the friends, they were sitting and discussing. And suddenly Balaram said, "Hey Krishna, you know what? You are not actually the son of Yashoda and Nanda Baba. You are actually a adopted son." Krishna is also equally possessive of Mother Yashoda. Krishna couldn't take this. Krishna started crying and weeping. Bhaiya, what are you saying? Huh? How this could be true? Mother Yashoda is my mother, Nanda Baba is my father. So to instigate, they were all the Suhrita Sagas, all the elderly friends, they were sitting around Krishna. The second Saga is like, yes, he is correct. I know. My father, my grandfather in my house, they told that they brought you up from underneath the tree. You are looking very black. So somebody had really rejected you and brought, kept you underneath the tree. You have been adopted. So several boys of Krishna, Balaram and other friends started teasing Krishna, and Krishna started crying. So with that cry, Krishna went to home and started to cry and cry and cry and cry, and it never would stop. So Mother Yashoda, she wouldn't know how to stop Krishna's cry. And Krishna is saying it is because of Balaram. Because she asked Balaram what happened. He said, it's because of this guy I am crying and he is responsible for it. So, and Mother Yashoda tried everything possible. She tried, I'll give you milk, I'll give you yogurt, I'll give you anything you want. So Krishna wouldn't stop crying. So finally, Mother Yashoda asked, tell me what you want to stop crying. That time Krishna said, I want to go to the forest. I also want to become a big boy. Because I'm a small guy, everybody is chasing and snubbing me off. So please let me go to the forest. In Gopala Champu, where this wonderful description is there. So it is explained that Krishna wanted to go to the forest. Mother Yashoda wouldn't allow him to go to the forest. So Krishna had to create a scene, and Balaram and other cowherd boys, they assisted Krishna in that service of going to the forest. And the Leela goes further. It's a very wonderful description how Mother Yashoda, created a scene where I will let you go to the forest only on a condition that we will find out a Subha Muhurta, an auspicious time. Call Gargamuni whenever he is trying to give a Muhurta. At that time, several conditions she had put in because she didn't have a choice. She had to agree. And Krishna agreed for all of those conditions. Because it was Krishna who knew how to arrange to get those conditions fulfilled. And Krishna eventually fulfilled those conditions. Because as soon as the conversation got over, suddenly Gargamuni appeared, which Yashodamaya never thought. Because she thought that Gargamuni will come, several days later. At least I'll buy some time and distract this guy. But Gargamuni suddenly appeared. So Krishna said, see, Mummy, Gargacharya has come. So please find out the auspicious time. And Gargamuni said that tomorrow is the right time. So tomorrow onwards he can do. So it is explained that Mother Yashoda had organized a 3-day festival to make Krishna from a Vatsapalak to Gopalak. 3-day festival. And it is explained that if anyone starts to describe the glories of the festival, even to describe one single day, it will take several hundreds and thousands of days to describe one day's festival. And Krishna and Balaram, for them to go out in the forest to herd the cows, all the Vrindavan Vasis, they went inside the forest, removed all the thorns and the stones and pebbles which will harm Krishna's lotus feet, so that Krishna can go and peacefully enjoy. and herd the cows. So the entire rasa and mood in Vrindavan Dham is so intense. The reason I'm trying to drive home this point is, as a part of the third reflection, where here the purport has clearly mentioned, the moment we start to accept the position of Balaram and the position of Krishna and our position in comparison to them, that how we are, Jive Swarupa Hoy, Krishna and Nitya Das, our material intelligence is completely purified, and we will get spiritual intelligence, and we get enabled to participate and associate with such Vaishnavas who can teach us, relish us such wonderful kathas. So in that context, we are very, very fortunate to have come in contact with our Gaudiya Vaishnava Siddhantas, Gaudiya Vaishnava Acharyas, who have enabled them. So the mood of Vrindavan Dham is always to glorify Krishna Balaram. And the mood of Balaram is to always assist Krishna, facilitate Krishna. And as it is explained in one of the purports in this current 8 slokas, that one who accepts Krishna but not Balaram is definitely wanting the hen half cut. So similarly, those who wants only Caitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy but not Nityananda Prabhu's mercy, it is not done. That logic is not going to work. So Vrindavan Das Thakura is saying that please understand the position of Nityananda Prabhu. Nityananda Prabhu has come especially to participate in Caitanya Mahaprabhu's Leela to make his mission accomplished. So Nityananda Prabhu plays a very significant role. That is why Bhaktivinoda Thakur is singing, Ek bar dekh le chakshe jal, Gaura bole nitai den sakala sambal. Jati dhana vidya bala natore apeksha, Dasturi lo ibo ami purna habeka. Which means, number one, Ek bar dekh le chakshe jal, once, if Nitai sees tears welling in your eyes by chanting the name of Gauranga, he will give you everything. And for giving that, he does not see Jati Dana Vidya Bala. He is not going to see which Jati, which caste, how much educated, how much strong, what gender you are. Nothing is going to be seen. He is going to give away this mercy. And anyone who distributes this knowledge and brings other souls to be the recipient of Nityananda Prabhu's mercy, that person will be given due commission by Nityananda Prabhu. Dasturi loibo ami purna habekam. I am giving this message, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying, I am giving this message of, wonderful message of Nityananda Prabhu, Boro Shuker Kaborgai, Surabi Kunjete, Name Hatkuleche, Kodanitai. So Nityananda Prabhu is very merciful. He is giving away all the mercy to all of us. And that is Balaram, who has played a wonderful role of a servant. And I'll just take 2 more minutes. And the fourth reflection that I want to submit, which is to say that now, 2022, 18th of Jan, now, on this day, at least I am sane enough in your assembly to claim, to talk, to present, and to discuss the subject matter. I don't know what is going to be my future. I don't know how this Kali Yuga is going to play a role on my consciousness with my dirtiness in the heart, and how the future is going to pan out. So I sincerely pray to the Supreme Lord, to his Vaishnavas, to all of you, as an Alvar prayed. I just want to bring in a very interesting context that we all should make such a prayer. I just want to end with a very small Pasuram. It's a very interesting one from Periyalvar Tirumozhi. It's one of the fantastic narrations. Thuppudaiyarai adaivadellam sorvidatu thunaiyavarendre ஒப்பிலேனாகின் உனை அடைந்தேன் யானைக்கு நீ அருள் செய்தமையால் எய்ப்பு என்னை வந்து நலியும் போது அங்கு ஏதும் நான் உன்னை நினைக்க மாட்டேன் அப்போதைக்கு இப்போதே சொல்லி வைத்தேன் அரங்கத்தரவனே பள்ளியானே. It's a song in Tamil. Says that எய்ப்பு என்னை வந்து நலியும் போது, when I am sick, when I am distressed, when I am diseased, when I am in trouble, I am not sure if I'll be sane enough to think about you, glorify about you, discuss about you, and talk about all this wonderful subject matter. So I am offering my prayers. At that time, I may not be able to remember you. I may not be able to appreciate you. But I am telling you now, if I don't remember you then, please don't hold me responsible. Use this moment and redeem me then. So this is a prayer by one of the Alvars. Because by my qualification, I am a very volatile person. But now when I am having this privilege and opportunity to glorify Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, to glorify the Supreme Lord, to glorify this process of Krishna consciousness, Aradinam, Pratidinam, Kurumam, Mukunda, as Kulashekara prayers. So give me the privilege of trying to pray you every day. But today I have done it. I am not sure about tomorrow. So please remember this. The 17th verse of Ishopanishad is also saying the same prayer. Saying that, my dear Lord, please remember all the services that I have done to you and eventually take me to the abode. So I want to, once again submit this as a prayer, and this can be a prayer for all of us, because padam padam yatti padam, every step there is a danger. So better we try to shield ourselves, protect ourselves, rescue ourselves with the help of these wonderful narrations and glorifications of Sri Krishna Chaitanya. And they are meant for patitas like me, and they are definitely going to rule our heart. Dayal Nitai Chaitanya Bole, Nachare Amar Mon. So hence, let's all participate more and more in such Gaur Katha and eventually win us and win many more souls to their lotus feet. Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam Itai Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Sorry that I'm overshot by 7-8 minutes, but if there are any questions or comments, I'll be happy to respond. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam, so glories to Srila Prabhupada. What an excellent class, Prabhu. It was so wonderful. Really, you delivered the right message in such a wonderful way, and the way you covered the entire verses with the beautiful pastimes of Vrindavan Dham, of Raj Dham. It's so wonderful. And really, I would say, Prabhu, you are really fortunate that your prayers were heard by Srimati Radharani, that you get a chance to visit every month. Wow, it's so glorious. And that too from Chennai, if I'm not wrong, right?
I'm in Mumbai.
Mumbai, okay. But still, Prabhu, from Mumbai also, going every month. You are really fortunate. You should really take the dust of your lotus feet so that we also get this opportunity, stuck here in this Western world. And because of COVID, not able to travel. But today, you gave, personally, I would say you gave me the right way to pray. How to pray in order to go to Vrindavan. I'm really longing for it for long, but thank you, Prabhu. Thank you for bringing that. Thank you for so sweet Leelas that you narrated of Krishna, and going from Vatsapalaka to Gopalaka, and the mood of Yashoda Maharani, and how possessive she was, with full of mamata. Thank you for singing that song, that your mother sang. Since I'm from North, I could really relate to that Hindi language. So thank you, Prabhu. I have just one thing that you mentioned about Nitai's mercy, and you were quoting some verses from Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Can you share that and just tell what?
It's a song called Boro Shuker Kaborgai. It's a beautiful song. Boro Shuker Kaborgai, Boro Shuker Kaborgai, Surabi Kunje te namer hat kuleche. Kodanitai, Boro Mojar Katatai, Boro Mojar Katatai. The song is there it's a wonderful song, beautiful song. That song only glorifies that the merciful Nitai. How Nityananda Prabhu is merciful. In that he is mentioning these all, several points. Bhaktivinoda Thakur is glorifying how Nityananda Prabhu does not see your caste, gender, nothing he sees. He just sees your Shraddha Mulye Suddha Naam Sehate Te Bikai. In that marketplace of Surabhi Kunj, holy name is being distributed, and the money that you have to pay is Shraddha Mulya Suddha Naam. Just give a Shraddha and you can buy it's a wonderful song. Sometimes, we can sing.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare
Thank you
Krishna.
so much. And thank you for singing that Pasuram. I have not understood not even a single word of it, because Tamil is really some alien language for me. But I could relate the same message by Kulashekar Alwar as translated by Prabhupada, and of course, as the verse of Isha Upanishad goes. So thank you, Prabhu. Thank you so much for this wonderful, wonderful class. Hare Krishna. Really, really grateful to you. Hare Krishna.
Just 2 minutes, that the Pasuram that I mentioned is actually identical part of the 17th verse of Isha Upanishad. All that Pasuram the Alvar is praying is that when I am going to be diseased, when I am going to be stuck, when I am going to be in challenge, I don't know if I am going to remember you. I'm not sure. I'm not confident about it. So I am remembering you now with whatever limited, strength and energy that I have, intelligence that I have. I'm remembering about it now. So please, ensure that you remind me or remember about that when I'm in trouble. So it is a kind of a small, exchange between the Lord and the devotee, saying that, Baba, I'm giving you something. You just give me at the time of a need. So that's a kind of a mode. It's a very interesting mode of an acharya.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you so much. And thank you so much, Anuradha Mataji, for sharing that song. That really helps. Hare Krishna.
Any other questions or comments, reflections?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Danat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada and Maharajas. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. It's a really, really very encouraging class. Especially, I really encouraged how to pray, because so many times we get disturbed when the difficulty comes and times comes, and then we could not even think about Krishna, and we are very much far from Krishna. And then the prayers you mentioned, it's very nice. Thank you so much, Prabhu, for that. And also Nityananda Prabhu's glories, and you just clarified very nicely what is the value of the Guru Tattva and Nityananda Prabhu, Balarams. It's a very nice, Prabhuji. Thank you. We are very grateful. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. And please keep us in your prayers, Prabhuji, when you go to the Vrindavan. I hope we can also go and then have same attitude. Actually, I really like how you enter and how you prayed in Vrindavan Dham. That is really touched to me. And that's, so we can cultivate some kind of attitude when we go. We never know. But thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Thank you so much, all glories to Prabhupada. In fact, I just want to, tell myself a warning, because all these kind words sometimes make you feel that you're a great devotee, or make us, feel proud. But every time, this has been maybe, for the last 32 years in my Krishna consciousness, every time when I go to Vrindavan, the day before I go to Vrindavan, I have a kind of a fear. Will I be let in? I mean, because Vrindavan, you cannot enter Vrindavan by your own planning. That much I am convinced. If you plan, buy a ticket, still for you to enter Vrindavan, you need to have some permission. So I just want to remain in that consciousness of having that fear in, so that even if a permission is denied, at least I will be able to try and ask for permission again, rather than being proud enough to make it every month. So it is not just by our endeavor we go to Vrindavan Dham, and not necessarily that physically somebody going to Vrindavan Dham is able to access Vrindavan Dham also. So those of you who are not able to physically come to Vrindavan Dham need not necessarily feel disheartened or deserted, because the message from this Caitanya Bhagavata is actually transporting us the last 1 hour, at least for whatever little bit of focus that we all had been into this. Actually, we were in Vrindavan Dham because we were with Krishna, Krishna's message and Krishna's content, and the sound vibrations were all transcendental. So at least if we get the privilege that you are doing every day such a katha, we will still get the Vrindavan consciousness. Of course, physically going to Vrindavan Dham is always special, at least slowly we can develop some sort of attachment towards this process. But anyway, thank you so much. I hope and pray that Krishna, may the Lord bestow their choicest blessings on all of you all, and whenever I get a chance, I'll pray for you all too.
Thank you.
Hare
Any
Krishna
other
Prabhuji,
questions?
please. Yeah, Hare Krishna Prabhuji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj, and what a wonderful class, Prabhuji. I had this not exactly relevant to today's class, but in general, whenever you preach so strongly, Prabhu. It directly touches the heart, it penetrates. But because you have so much of experience in the movement, but a neophyte and even new person like me in Krishna consciousness, when I tend to preach very strongly, I also feel I'm scared that Krishna might be laughing at me, like, saying that 2 more days you're in Krishna consciousness, and who knows, I'll be there or not in future. So this fear, it goes both together. I want to preach, but I have a particular way of preaching, which is it looks, it seems to some people as very strong, and it is like, but then at the same time I'm scared, because I feel if I do not remain in Krishna consciousness in the future. So tell me something, Prabhuji, so that I can choose a right path.
Okay, I'll first acknowledge something, that I personally don't have cannot take any credit to what the good things that have come out of this particular discussion, or any discussion for that matter. At this particular moment, I am feeling very indebted, as well as connected with His Holiness Jayapataka Maharaj. I had this good fortune of being his son. He has very kindly accepted. Right from the time I met him in 1992, all I have seen is his approach towards presenting Krishna consciousness to others. How he presented Krishna consciousness to people like us. I was in my grade 9th or grade 8th or 9th when I first met. I never knew that he's going to be my Gurudev. But since then, I have been seeing, or all the devotee friends, or my seniors, my mentors, all of them, they did only one thing. They accommodated me, they nurtured me, they handled my arrogance. So all my preaching, whatever little bit that I'm trying to present you all, is something that I have observed, how I have been tamed by all of them. Because I know what an animal I am. And several times my seniors have scolded me, don't jump like monkeys, don't try to, act smart. Several scolding I have received, and several menial services have been given, and several, wonderful instructions have been given. And I'm very, very thankful and indebted to them. Right now, Jayapataka Maharaj is, sick in the hospital. So I feel very, I want to sincerely request you all to please pray for him. But if at all there is any credit, that all credit goes to, Guru, not only Diksha Guru, but all my Siksha Gurus, and the way they handled me. In the sense that Krishna consciousness is presented to a person not based on what you know and you can give, what is needed and to be given. This is a very secret, because many a times I have seen, or I have experienced myself also, we get to see people talking in a forum of what they know. What we know, if suppose, for example, if Srila Prabhupada had spoken to us of what he know, probably we wouldn't be able to assimilate everything that Srila Prabhupada knows in this world. Srila Prabhupada presented what is relevant and relatable by the audience. So my 2 cents that I have learned from any preaching program is, can we present the content, number 1, by keeping you as a student, number 2, to understand the assembly to whom we are addressing, and present whatever legitimately that we have learned, and give credit to them. So at least by that way, the clarity of thought is achieved. And last but not least that I want to say is that even if even if our strategy is wrong, but if our attitude is right, the message is delivered and the person is delivered. So it is not about the speaking, articulation, presentation technique that is important. It's good to have. And today only I read a letter that Srila Prabhupada wrote to a devotee who wanted to become a politician, and how he used Prabhupada's lectures and messages to become a very wonderful orator. So Srila Prabhupada appreciated them and said that how you can use that skills. But what is all the more important is the attitude one beholds. The example is a person is a Chinese. He lives next door to a South Indian, and they both don't know each other's language. But if one is in trouble, the other person will be able to express it. You know how to express your situation in a despondency, in a complete desperateness. So for sure, skills are good and important. We can try to learn and refine. So rather than focusing on the skills in the first place, let's focus on our attitude and our preparation of ourselves, consciousness to present ourselves as a servant. Skills will be delivered because it is not your project, it is Krishna's project. Rasaraj Prabhu once gave a very wonderful example. He said if a very rich guy, a multi-millionaire, invited you, forced you, insisted you to come to his party at home, knowingly that you are not very rich, knowingly that you are not very well-groomed, it is his responsibility to make you presentable because you are his guest. Similarly, Krishna knows where we come from, what is our capability, what is our skills. Still, he is asking us, go out and preach, give my knowledge to others, become my servant, which means it is Krishna's project, under Krishna's demand, under the order of our spiritual master. We are just complying to that need. If that attitude is clear, the necessary skills to present that, it is Krishna's job. Because if you fail to present Krishna nicely, it is Krishna's problem. Of course, I'm not trying to park it there. It is our problem, but I'm saying that Krishna will definitely see to that. He'll give you a necessary support system, necessary enablers for us to acquire the skills. Valmiki was not a skilled orator or a skilled writer or a skilled person, but the holy name, the association with Narada Muni enabled it. So all our associations will definitely make us become well-groomed, articulated. And nobody is born with a skill like that. It is only the association that makes it possible, as well as the more we reflect upon the way we have been taken care. If we just repeat the same, I think we will be able to win many more souls. I guess depends upon our strategy. Krishna will send the necessary soul, and we will be able to win them. We may not be able to attract everybody. I may still not be the right speaker to several forums, but maybe Krishna is engaging me in your forum so that I will be able to utilize my time in some service and in reciprocation get some blessings too. Am I making some sense here?
Completely, Prabhuji, and thank you so much. Beautiful, beautiful analogy. Of course, we are praying for Japataka Maharaj. And yes, Prabhuji, the analogies are beautiful, and it keeps us humble, me humble, thinking that it is Krishna's project and he will take care. Thank you so much. Beautiful example, Prabhu. Thank you. Very grateful. Dandavat pranam, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. What a beautiful class, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. The way you started and making us understanding that like how we should appreciate pastimes of Krishna and Balarama. If you don't appreciate, what will be our position, and how the future generation is going to affect with not appreciation, and how the Srimad Bhagavatam, even by reciting even a single verse. I really like the point that you are saying, even though if you're saying it wrong or reading it wrong, but still do it. That really touched my heart, Prabhuji, because when I read it, I feel sometimes I'm making mistakes in pronunciation. I'm not reading properly, but better stop reading instead of reading it wrong way. But when you said this word, words. It really touched my heart, Prabhuji, to continue reading what I am reading. Krishna will take care of rest. Whatever is possible from my side, I can do it. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Each and every point that you spoke today is really heart changing. Like, you know, the whatever the things in our heart is stopping us to do services, that you gave that encouragement. Nothing can stop you, just the desire you need to have. That's it. Krishna will take care of everything. The thing that you have shared about you are going to Mumbai and distributing the books, how beautifully Krishna has there with you. And just now you were sharing about how the owner is going to take care of your thing, like how you are going to look in there, like that was so nice, Prabhuji. So nice point, like which really, you know, makes us understand when we try to, you know, how can I say that? Like when I feel that I am low, but when I attach to Krishna, Krishna is there. Then why do I feel my Krishna is supreme? Then if I am taking shelter of Krishna, I don't have to fear for anything. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for such a beautiful class. Very grateful to you. Hare Krishna. Hope you visit every time to Vrindavan.
Oh my God, thank you. Hare Krishna. Any other thoughts?
Prabhuji, yeah, Prabhuji, I have a small doubt regarding my situation. We live in, I don't know, it's this question should approach in the forum or privately, but we are living in the place where the temple is not there 5 hours far from temple, but we figure out here is one farm, not ISKCON's farm, but devotees farms. Some Gaudiya Vaishnava devotees and who are like Prabhupada disciples, so they were joining there. And then Krishna's mercy, we went there. Farm is very nice. All the devotees were very nice. We are very much feeling 3 hours from our place, and we could go and come back. No need to stay there. And then for kids also, it's very nice. They were all happy. They had a very nice time with cows, and everything is very nice. But I'm in my heart, because I'm just everything what is given by Guru Maharaj and Srila Prabhupada, I want to keep that gratefulness always, so that I may lie in the time, if I go continuously, I may lose that gratefulness, you know. Means not like that way, negative way, but I may attach there more, and then I don't know, some kind of fear was in my mind, and we were, my husband, me, and my daughter, we were all talking, and then we should go every week, or we should go every month, or we were very excited and come back. Everything, devotees were so wonderful, very hardworking devotees. All these things, sometimes it's very hard to find, sometimes our even own ISKCON temple like that, you know. And then maybe we may find our own institute. Means kind of so many things was we were talking. And then and next year we were nicely talking with we were discussing, and then next year we go once 3 months, you know, like that. Makes just to keep distance from the beginning, and then appreciating devotees, how they are try to spread and their hard work, everything. But how you suggest in that situation, Prabhuji?
I'll tell you 4 points. Number 1, this is not only with your situation, with every possible situations. Number 1, we need to learn to be loyal to Srila Prabhupada, because Srila Prabhupada, within a very limited time, set up a framework. He had several things to do, but he left it for all of us to do. Within a limited time, whatever he had set up ISKCON, set up a framework, gave some templates, gave some instructions, so that with that as a base, with that as a nucleus, things have to be done. So, number 1, we have to be loyal to Srila Prabhupada and making sure that we win more and more souls to Srila Prabhupada. The reason I'm saying loyalty is, many times, many things we can get digressed and eventually get carried away. So hence, for us to make Srila Prabhupada books or the law books the next 10,000 years, as well as to make the Sankirtan mission spread, we have to be loyal. And number two, the glorious aspect of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission is we are broad-minded. So both go hand in hand. When I say loyal, I am attached to Srila Prabhupada. I am with Srila Prabhupada to follow Srila Prabhupada's system, but I am not choosy in the sense that many times we say that I will only deal with ISKCON devotees, not with other Gaudiya Math, not with other devotees, not with other members. It is our duty to go and try to win more and more souls. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has integrated Sri Vaishnavism, has integrated Madhva Sampradaya, has integrated every Sampradaya into his Sankirtan mission. Bhaktichar Maharaj once gave a class in Mayapur Dham, beautiful class. He said how Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy is for everyone. So from that standpoint, we need to be broad-minded. When I say broad-minded, when we deal with anyone who is, devotionally inclined, devotionally supportive, within the framework of loyalty and, gratefulness, we need to encourage them, and to that much extent, we can associate with them. But third, with respect to Krishna consciousness process, at no point in time, when no resources are unavailable, should be a stumbling block for our journey. Because I'll tell you an incident that happened after my marriage. On the same day, me and my wife went to take blessings from Jananivas Prabhu and Pangajangar Prabhu. They came to our wedding. It was in Mayapur Dham in Jagannath temple. So in the evening, we were going to meet His Holiness Bhakti Vigna Vinash, Bhakti with Gurukul Maharaj, Bhakti Vidyapurna Maharaj. So on the way, we met Jananivas Prabhu and Pangajangar Prabhu. So once again, we offered obeisances. In the morning, we couldn't talk much. So this time, they were a little free. At that time, Pangajangar Prabhu, as always jovial, he said, you Rakshasa, you're taking a Dham Vasi away from Dham. At the time, my wife and family, they used to live in Mayapur Dham. So for 7 years, they were living, they were kind of settled there. So I used to be from Mumbai at that time, and even still now. So he said that you are coming from Maya Nagari and taking a Dham Vasi away from Dham, you're a Rakshasa. That's a statement he said. So I was not knowing how to respond. He was joking, but there was a meaning underneath that. Then he asked, my wife, what is he doing in Mumbai, or what is he up to there? So I don't know why she mentioned that. She said that he is preaching in Mumbai. Yeah, I was a software engineer. I'm still a software engineer, but she somehow said, probably to save my skin, that he's preaching in Mumbai. At that time, Pangajangar Prabhu made a very interesting point. If at all you are living in a city, if at all you are living far away from Dham and other places, the only way by which you can justify living there is to preach and present Krishna consciousness. And Prabhupada says, if there is no one out there to preach or to present Krishna consciousness, husband and wife and family members can sit in front of the altar, can read Krishna book and Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, and maintain their Krishna consciousness. This is the mandate that Srila Prabhupada has given. Srila Prabhupada was sitting in his quarters one time. A group of devotees, they were going to go for Nagar Sankirtan. When they were going for Nagar Sankirtan, so within 15 minutes, they came back. Srila Prabhupada said that, hey, you guys went for Nagar Sankirtan, you came back in 15 minutes. What happened? So Prabhupada, there were nobody there in the streets, so we came back. Srila Prabhupada says, don't you see several trees and birds and bees and other creatures there? This holy name is not only meant for humanity, it is meant for, all the living entities. So go out and perform Nagar Sankirtan. So the third aspect that I want to say is that in presenting in Krishna consciousness scenarios, if you are not having a temple or a sangha, so you can think in two ways. One is to say, oh, my Krishna consciousness is doomed. Or you can think, says, wow, I have a wonderful green field to create present Krishna consciousness. So a missionary, a visionary, or a person who is grateful to this process will go for the second, rather than sulking. Of course, now technology is definitely helping you to be connected with some devotees virtually. But for your local sangha, physical sangha, vapu seva, and some service, you can create. You can start in a very small, humble capacity. I'm not discounting whether that farm or whether they are bona fide people, how much they are going to support, Srila Prabhupada's ISKCON movement. So those are all details which have to be taken up separately outside of this forum. But as a principle, we should always think that crave for an opportunity, create an opportunity if you can't avail one. Because if there is no opportunity coming your way, technically speaking, we can create opportunity. And last but not least, that in our journey towards practicing and presenting Krishna consciousness, we can be very respectful, and being respectful to the like-minded and dharmic people will naturally develop a cloud. And that way, when we are appreciative of their good things, they will be appreciative of your good things. In that way, you will be able to win their heart. So your so-called material success and your lifestyle, the way you conduct yourself and being respectful towards everyone will naturally make them get attracted to you, in which way you can also present Krishna consciousness and transform a society. Because a Krishna Bhakta is a paro upakar, is a person who is ready to perform upakar to serve the humanity at large. With that spirit, you should be able to do this. This is a general thumb rule for any preaching spirit, and depends upon your circumstances. You may have to take some more counseling, consulting, because there are more details to certain actual decisions. But I just want to give this as a principle for taking such decisions. Make sense, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes, thank you so much. Yeah, it's very much clearing.
Any other questions or thoughts? I'm sure I'm holding you all up for a long time, but then if there are any more questions, I'll be happy to respond. Otherwise, we can end the session.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for the wonderful answers and so heart-touching. Today class was awesome. I should say worth hearing again and again. So Kaumadiki Mataji, would you love to take over? We can end up here.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Sorry, Mataji. Go ahead. You are on mute, Mataji.
It's not doing. Okay.
Yeah, now we can hear you.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Mataji.
Thank you very much. Huh? You cannot hear?
Yeah, we can hear you, Mataji. Please go ahead.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji, for a very enlightening class today. And we are very grateful to you. We look forward to your association again in the future. And nobody has any question. So, by your permission, we can end the call here. Mancha kalpaturupyascha kripasindhubhyaivacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavyo Ananta Koti Vaishnav ki jai, Namacharya Shridas Thakur ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Sri Caitanya Charitamrita ki jai, His Grace Ramgiridhari Prabhu ki jai. Thank you very much, Prabhuji.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Very grateful. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, once again for such a beautiful class. Thank you everyone for joining today's class.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Pranam. Thank you so much.
Chitamurtam Dham ki jai.
Yay. Thank you everyone.